Coming up on show 510, Musk wants everyone to go all out, Hyundai's SUV EV prototype, and an update on CHAdeMO chargers. Well, those stories and many more coming up on the show today. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Wherever you are in the world, welcome to EV News Daily. Wednesday, 26th of June today. My name's Martyn Lee, and I go through every EV story to save you time. Thank you as always to myev.com. In the USA, it's the place where you can buy and sell and learn about electric cars along the way as well. Grab yourself a bargain, or maybe if you're moving onwards and upwards to a car, different EV model, that might be how you get a shot of yours, as it were. myev.com. Before we get into the news today, a couple of reviews that I want to say thank you to those dropping by my Facebook page to leave. Victor Wood says, I've been listening to EV News Daily since episode 180, and it's become part of my daily listening routine. Always informative, always up to date, and what more do you want? And thank you to Rob Hermans, who wrote, I've been listening to Martyn's podcast for a few months. It's by far the best way to keep in touch with the most recent developments in EV land. And finally, Jan Kroc says, love the podcasts, a wonderful way to start an EV commute. And thank you to everyone who listens to this podcast, especially those who've reviewed it on your favourite platform like Facebook or maybe Apple Podcasts. And if you're listening in an EV today, hello to you. Following the news yesterday of the Lightyear 1, the new solar-powered car that's going to do 450 miles of range, I thought it might be really timely to look at the range of EVs which can do over 200 miles, because surely that's the sweet spot in 2019. Everyone got excited yesterday about 450 miles in an EV, and I agree with them. That would be an amazing thing to achieve. But actually, a 200-mile range EV means that's enough of a freeway, motorway, highway drive for you to do before you want to stop, especially if you're travelling with the family. Range, by the way, is king with EVs. And so how have manufacturers come? How far have they come with giving EVs the best possible range, over 200 miles? Well, I thought I'd have a look at the cars on sale here in the UK that can do more than 200 miles. This is just me writing down some notes 5 minutes ago. If I've forgotten any, please get in contact and let me know. Not all of these are on sale at the moment, but they will be soon. The Opel/Vauxhall Corsa E. On sale soon. I think you can make a deposit for it now. Does 205 miles. The Peugeot E208 with a similar size battery does 211 miles. And now announced on the podcast yesterday, the Nissan Leaf E+. That's the one with a 62 kilowatt hour battery. That does 239 miles. Oh, mustn't forget the Tesla Model X. The standard range Model X does 230 miles. The Renault Zoe ZE50 on sale before the end of the year, 242 miles. And the Model 3 Standard Range Plus, that's 254 miles. The Audi e-tron, 255. The Mercedes-Benz EQC, 259 miles. And the Kia Soul EV, that's the 64 kilowatt hour battery, that does 280 miles and on sale in the UK very soon. The Model S standard range, 280 miles. The Kia e-Niro, 64 kilowatt hour battery, that does 282 miles. This is some serious mileage now, guys. The I-Pace does 292. Coincidentally, exactly the same as the Kona electric, 292 miles on a single charge. And then we get into the Teslas. The Model X Performance 300, Model X Long Range 313, the Model 3 Performance, that does 329, according to the, again, I'm giving the European WLTP numbers, might be different in America. The Model S Performance 365 and the Model S Long Range beats them all at 375 miles on the WLTP test cycle. A couple of honourable mentions. I know I left out the Chevy Bolt because I was doing the UK cars that are on sale or could be for sale soon. Chevrolet Bolt is a big one for my North American listeners, 238. And an honourable mention for the BMW i3, which just fell off the bottom of the list, but the new one, 120 amp hour battery, does 193 miles. All of those cars, I think, give you, at over 200 miles, a really sensible long-distance car to take on road trips. And I wanted to sit down, and before I realised I was making my notes 5 minutes ago, I thought this list is getting longer. Admittedly, a lot of them are different variants of Tesla cars, S3, X, and the various ones they do. But that's a long list, right? And all of those cars either on sale now or on sale before the end of the year. And there's stuff we never touched on. Porsche Taycan and things like that. I'm not sure quite when UK deliveries begin, so I left it off the list. Any obvious ones I forgot? not? I don't think so. But also, my brain lets me down sometimes. And so if I forgot one really obvious and I'm going to kick myself, leave a comment. I'll add it in tomorrow. A new leaked email from Elon Musk says that Tesla staff have to go all out to set a new delivery record. Tesla could be on the verge of a quarterly record for vehicle deliveries, though the electric car maker has got to go all out in the last few days of the month. We're onto the countdown now, just a couple of days left before the end of June and the end of the quarter. Elon Musk wrote in an email, an internal memo to staff that was found by Bloomberg. The company has forecast it will deliver around 90,000, 100,000 at the top end in this quarter that we're in. So this 3-month period, after handing over 63,000 vehicles in the first 3 months of the year. A reminder, their previous best for quarterly deliveries was 90,700, and that was at the end of last year. Elon Musk wrote this, and I quote, "There is a lot of speculation regarding our vehicle deliveries this quarter. The reality is that we're on track to set an all-time record, but it will be very close. However, if we go all out, we can definitely do it. We already have enough vehicle orders to set a record, but the right cars are not yet in the right locations. Logistics and final delivery are extremely important, as well as finding demand for vehicle variants that are available today locally, but we can't reach the people who have ordered that variant before the end of the quarter." End quote. So, from what I take from that, certain sources say there are about 12,000 undelivered cars in Tesla at the moment. Maybe they'll do about 7,000 of them by the end of the week and the end of the quarter. I've seen on Reddit someone saying that they were called up by their Tesla rep to ask would they take a different spec Model 3 from the one they ordered. And I imagine if that story is true, and it's Reddit, be careful, anyone can post on there, but also that sounds like a believable thing. And it's a fine phone call to get. Hey, by the way, we've got this car in stock right now. If you'd like it, we can deliver it. It's locally to you. That's a fair question to ask because you, of course, can always say, no thank you, no pressure. Moving on to Hyundai. Hyundai has begun to produce a prototype of its first SUV, its compact sports utility vehicle, on a brand new platform designed only for electric cars, a platform exclusively for their EVs called the eGMP, reports the newspaper Korean Times. Reminder, by the way, that the Hyundai Kona EV is built on an ICE platform with the batteries stuffed in places they were never designed for. Hyundai has requested several auto parts companies to supply the parts necessary for the prototype of its first electric car, sources in the industry said, and Hyundai plans to complete the car by December. The prototype is a pre-production test vehicle before mass production. They'll make about 50 to 200 of them, I'm guessing, the prototypes, and testing them and putting them in different conditions before mass production starts, which could be maybe a year away or more. Moving on to plug wars. I never quite get this, but there's lots of people that have a CHAdeMO plug that argue that's the best one because it's two-way, and people who have a CCS plug that argue that's the best one because it's more popular, and people who have a Tesla that argue their plug is the best because, well, heck, it's a Tesla. However, you look, maybe it'll be like DVD where Blu-ray won. Remember there was HD DVD and there was Blu-ray and then Blu-ray 1. Remember there was VHS and Betamax and VHS 1. Or maybe plug sockets for cars will be more like mobile phone networks, where actually here in the UK we have 3 maybe. They keep merging and buying things. But there's 3 or 4 major networks in many countries that you can connect your mobile phone to. So maybe it won't be that there's one overall winner. And of course, let's not forget in China, the most popular plug in the world is the GBT socket. Anyway, let's talk CHAdeMO for now, because the CHAdeMO Association just reported the total number of CHAdeMO chargers around the world, and it's increased to a big number now, 25,300. That's a 40% increase in a year. 40, huge increase. According to InsideEVs.com, the single biggest market for CHAdeMO is here in Europe. CHAdeMO is often installed with every CCS charger in multi-head chargers. As of April, a couple of months ago, there were 9,200 CHAdeMO chargers in Europe. The progress in Japan, where CHAdeMO was first developed, is actually slower. The number of chargers stands at 7,600. In North America, It's 3,200, and that's about 40% more than a year ago. Hard to say how much Nissan, Mitsubishi in North America will cope, though. The only real forces behind CHAdeMO. But, of course, with the CHAdeMO connector, you can charge a Tesla as well. Saying that, I'm going to contradict myself that all Model 3s in Europe are now CCS plugs. Who knows if one will win or whether it'll end up where there's 2 or 3 general plugs in the world and they all kind of coexist. I've mentioned the Hyundai Kona a moment ago. A new video out today by an Australian website shows the car really smoking its front tyres with ease for several seconds before that it could get the grip again as it was doing a 0 to 60 time. And this is because they turned off the traction control. By the same token, the subcompact crossover was never really meant as a performance car, so it's easy to be surprised at a car like the Kona smoking its tyres for several seconds. From 0 to 100 k's, that's 62 miles an hour. If you do it with traction control on, the Hyundai Kona actually got there in 6.86 seconds in this test, which is anything less than 7 is really fast. Like the new Nissan Leaf E Plus is just over 7. That's really fast. According to the Auto Evolution website, in the United States, the Kona Electric comes standard with a larger of the 2 battery options. You only get it with 64 kilowatt hour battery. That is 258 miles on the EPA range. The trim level is SEL. That's the one that costs you $36,950, while the Limited and Ultimate cost you more. $41,000 and $44,000-ish, respectively. That excludes destination charges, but of course you have got federal government incentives of tax rebates, and local incentives as well can bring the price of it down to less than $30,000. If you want to watch the video, I'll put a link in the show notes because this Aussie website have some fun with the Kona, and it's really interesting to see an EV with the traction control turned off and all of that torque just overwhelms the front tyres. They just smoke and smoke and smoke. I've never seen it because all of the 0 to 60 tests that you see have traction control turned on to get the best time. Let's talk buses. BYD is taking another step into the lucrative North American market with the announcement of a new bus plant in somewhere called Newmarket, Ontario, Canada. The new 45,000 square foot facility represents another step forward into the electrified future of North America, says Clean Technica. BYD's new plant gives BYD additional bus production capacity close to the high-density east coast of the US, in addition to opening up new partnerships in Canada as well. Well, the new plant already has its first marching orders, and that is 10 fully electric BYD buses for the transit operator in Canada, the Toronto Transit Commission, TTC, and they've got 30 more optioned beyond the initial order. Moving back to electric planes, which I mentioned yesterday, Siemens is looking to sell its e-aircraft business, and they're selling it to another company big in the aviation industry, Rolls-Royce. The companies expect the move to take place later this year, says Charged EVs. Siemens e-aircraft have been busy developing electric and hybrid electric propulsion systems for aerospace at locations in Munich in Germany and Budapest in Hungary. It cooperates with partners like Airbus to create prototypes for systems like the Airbus City Airbus for electric propulsion in the air. Well, a couple more stories. And firstly, one called Spark EV Technology, a company that had some big news last week that I missed. When I was traveling to France on Thursday, they put their press release out, and like a silly idiot, I missed it, and so I'm catching up now. Brilliant, almost a week later. Sorry about this. Spark EV Technology announced a collaboration with BP, British Petroleum, that provided real-world trials on its advanced range prediction system. In a story from Automotive News Europe, they picked up that EVs today EVs can be poor at estimating their battery life remaining. In real-world tests, they can significantly underestimate or overestimate the energy needed for the journey that you're taking. Urban driving can be 2 or even 3 times as efficient as motorway driving, and yet the vehicle uses the most recent driving efficiency as a guide to remaining range. So if you do lots of town driving, but then you have a motorway journey to do, you won't start to get your car updating the real estimated kind of state of charge at arrival until you've done several high-speed miles. Well, this new technology from Spark EV looks to fix it. Working with BP, they observed that one car could have driven 45 miles more than its displayed range. Another car in the trial did 21 miles less. And in comparison, Spark's technology is an intelligent range prediction algorithm using data on the route that you put in, not where it's been in the past, but where you're going, to predict with much more accuracy how much range you will exactly need. Clever stuff. And finally, as Tesla fans already know, Tesla cars are the most safest on the road. The Model 3 is the safest car ever tested by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. It judged Tesla's newest car to have the lowest probability of injury in a collision of any of over 900 cars it's ever tested. In second place, well, that was the Model S. In third place, that was the Model X. You saw that one coming. Says Evanex for Inside EVs. Tesla cars have a glass roof, and that's one of the reasons why they're safer. Normal cars, the thinnest part of metal on many cars is actually the thin tin roof, which cannot help you when you do a rollover, particularly at high speed. But even so, some car roofs are not as strong as a glass roof. In fact, a glass roof that is on a Tesla is much more safe. It's made like the windshield is. 2 layers of hardened glass, laminated with thermoplastic, much stiffer than any thin sheet metal roof on a normal car. Thanks to Tesla's connectivity features as well. Another one of the reasons why Teslas are so safe. The company has detailed data on every single accident that every Tesla has ever been in. And so Tesla on autopilot averages 1 accident per 2.7 million miles driven. The average for a normal passenger car in the US is 1 accident for every 436,000 miles driven. A few of the reasons why those Teslas came out safer than any other. Let's move on to Question of the Week this week. Thanks to myev.com for setting our Question of the Week. Keep your comments coming in on email and YouTube. Do EVs have anything more to prove? Let me know. Email me, hello@evnewsdaily.com, and we'll read your answer out on Sunday. Well, time for the endy bit now. Thank you to 227 patrons of the podcast for keeping this podcast going. I appreciate it so much. By the way, approaching the end of the month, if you've come to the end of how much you want to support, it's fine to cancel. Honestly, even if you support for 1 month, it's amazing. Continued support is incredible. They do the billing at the end of, I think like the first day of the month. So what are we on now? 3 or 4 days until July. If you were thinking, remember to do this. You know, like your subscription, sometimes you think, I must do that, and then another month rolls around and it hits you and you, oh no! If that's you, feel free to cancel. If you want to carry on going and help support this podcast, look, I appreciate it so much. Just a little friendly reminder there. There are 509 previous shows online for free, and you can get all the new ones first and free and automatically if you subscribe for free on your favourite podcast platform, or even the audio goes on YouTube. Come and say hi on the socials by searching EV News Daily. Have a wonderful day. I'll catch you tomorrow, and remember, there is no such thing as a self-charging hybrid.